Well, what did it do for this group getting their first win?
Yeah, no, it was obviously really exciting. As I said, out of round one, I felt like they worked so hard and played pretty well without reward. And in some ways, we probably didn't play quite as well until the last quarter and a bit, but it was great for them to get reward. As I said, you know, it's, certainly it showed a fair bit of resolve because they were in a bit of strife there in the third, but they were able to sort of just stay calm and finish out the game really strongly, so it was pleasing.
And were you pretty happy to see sort of how the composure of the ball movement had improved from week one?
Yeah, well, I think a couple of factors there. The ground was a bit bigger, a little bit less congestion, and so that sort of allowed the game to open up a little bit. And the fact that we kicked accurately made a big difference. In terms of actual efficiency of scoring shots, it was about the same, but we kicked goals instead of points.
And Chelsea Randall's definitely playing?
No, she's in the squad. She's got one more session she's got to get through. So we've obviously listed her because the rules and the regulations say we have to lodge our teams, but she has one more session to get through. She does that, she's in.
And when's that session?
She'll train today.
Right, yeah.
And that's sort of just precautionary with the hamstring?
Yes, that's exactly the same scenario as last week. Last week she was really, really close, but didn't quite get there, and so she's had a really good steady build. But she's got one more box to tick.
How did she go last night at training?
Yeah, so she trained. She actually, because of the schedule, she's trained Wednesday, and now she'll train today.
Yeah.
So she didn't train with the group. She trained independently on Wednesday, and now she'll train again today because the game's not until Sunday. If it had been Saturday game, it would have been a different schedule.
Stevie Lee Thompson, are you expecting her to back up her incredible first game in the forward?
Yeah, so well, she played forward the previous week for the first half, and then we sent her back. Which we did in Darwin as well. So we don't expect her to kick 4 goals every week. It'd be lovely if she does, but obviously what was great was that she was just using her speed both offensively and defensively. She got the ball, took off, and then also applied great pressure. So if she does that, you know, she'll probably have influence, whether it's offence or maybe in defence this week.
In the men's, the word versatile is used a lot, but it seems like you've got a really versatile squad because you can, you know, all these options.
Yeah, there's certainly through the pre-season that was a big focus to make sure that we didn't pigeonhole anyone into a particular position, and it's proven a useful thing because we've had to make some changes through injury, so that's that versatility's played to our advantage.
Maisie Nankerville being managed.
Yeah. So early in her career, clearly combining the two sports, and came out of the weekend a bit sore and beaten up. So we're just going to give her the opportunity to get 100% right, freshen her up, and go again for games down the track.
Can you give us an update on Hewitt and Sedgenary? Where are they at with their?
Yeah. So Jazz obviously is based in Darwin. Yeah. You know, fairly significant ankle in the trial game up there, but she'll actually be down in Adelaide this weekend, and so all of our medicos will have a look at her down here. She's working really hard in her rehab. Haven't got an exact timeline on it, but we're really hopeful that in the next couple of weeks she might be available for selection. And Sedgenary, yeah, so she's progressing through a foot sprain pre-Christmas, and so it's been a really challenging build. You know, traditionally really tricky injuries because there's not a definite timeline, but she's back to day on day off running, so she's back running, and so the progression, she's really dedicated athlete, really fit, so as soon as she can not only run but get the change of direction, then she'll come under selection consideration.
Do you see either of those?
Yeah, no, I'm confident that by the end of the year we'll have a look at them. Yeah.
What have you made of Geelong so far?
Yeah, really like what they've done. I went and watched them live last weekend, and obviously saw a bit of the tape from round one. I think they're obviously a young side, but they're playing a good style. They're trying to support the contest. They share the ball by hands quite a bit, and they're looking to move the ball pretty quickly out the open side. So a lot of the things that we were actually talking about is how they're going about it. So I think it's going to be a really good contest. And they've got a couple of significant ins in terms of Hickey and Cranston, who are both, you know, amongst their best players. So they'll be a really good challenge.
They have some big outs though. Astor O'Connor's a big one.
Yeah, so I went last week and she didn't play the second half, and so Hawke, who came in and played the ruck in the second half, actually did pretty well. A lot of height, and was able to give them pretty good use. So I think they'll cover that position reasonably well. On balance, I'd suggest that the two ins are probably more significant.
Can you just say something to me about Hannah Martin? Has
Yeah.
she impressed you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So obviously this is her first season. She played predominantly in some of the outside roles, wings, half forwards through the first couple of games, and then we put her into the midfield as a pure midfielder last week, and I thought she thrived in the position. So yeah, great around the contest, really really clean at ground level, and brings really good pressure. So no, we're really happy with how she's progressed, and you know, it's early in her career, very early, but we like what we're seeing.
How important is speed in AFLW? Because Hannah, Thompson, they're both really fast, aren't they?
Yeah, I think every team you want to have that mix. So you definitely need some players with genuine leg speed, but equally there's roles for just contested players that can get into the clinches and get the ball out to those outside runners. So yeah, if you had a choice between having speed or not having it, I'd take it. I never had it, but I heard it was pretty useful. So we've got a good balance.
And will most of your players, do they go to that Lightning win on Wednesday night?
Yes, I was at the Lightning win, and yeah, a lot of our players were there. Obviously, there's a lot with strong connection to basketball in their backgrounds, and just sports fans. So to see, you know, a local team in a grand final was a great opportunity for us to get along, and it was a ridiculously exciting match. Where I was sitting anyway, we were almost directly behind where the last bucket was scored. So it was a great event. Great event.
Inspiring for them.
Yeah, well, you know, if we can take some of that, that'd be awesome. I don't think it'll have a massive influence, but it was a good night out.
What about Ailish? So, you know, she's someone who played her first game of AFL in January, if I've got that right.
Correct, yep.
She keeps making the side.
Yep.
What does she mean?
Yeah, no, what she's done really well is she hasn't dominated a game yet, but she does the things that we ask her to do really well. So she's really clean in the contest, so she gets her head over the ball, takes the ball clean. She's generally in the right spots, even though she's only learning the game. She generally makes good decisions in terms of where to run, and also her kick skill is really high end. She hasn't found a heap of the ball yet, but certainly in training, when the game opens up, she's one that can use the ball left and right foot equally well. So she's doing really well. As I said, she's another one who's obviously really early in her career, but she's progressing well.
Norwood Oval, you talked before that, you know, you got 1 goal 11 there. Smaller oval, more congestion. How are you going to tackle that this week? Yeah,
no, that's definitely a learning from round one. That we just have to accept that there's going to be a high level of pressure because the ground is slightly more congested than some of the other ones. That can play to our favour. It allowed us to put great pressure on the Bulldogs and restrict them defensively. But when we've got the ball, we need to be perhaps at times just a little bit calmer and be able to absorb that pressure before we try and dispose of it. But it'll be the same for both teams, so it'll be okay.